You live in a world that lies to you. It preaches naive goodness, justice as a birthright, and merit as the only key to success. But the truth is a bitter pill. These are the poisons that weaken powerful minds and relegate them to invisibility. The real trap lies not in a lack of talent, but in the blind belief that the universe conspires in favor of the good. This is a dangerous illusion. The world, in its raw and untamed essence, rewards not innocence, but cunning. It elevates not passivity, but calculated action. How many times have you felt frustrated, invisible, and overlooked, while watching others, perhaps less capable, rise? The answer lies in your reluctance to abandon the fantasy of universal justice and embrace the reality of practical intelligence. You have been conditioned to fear the word strategy when applied to your personal or professional life, mistaking it for malign manipulation. But the absence of strategy is the true malice against yourself, an invitation to mediocrity. It's the choice to be a pawn in a game whose rules you don't even understand. Those who successfully navigate the currents of life, who achieve influence and respect, do so not because they are more fair or beautiful, but because they understand the hidden dynamics of power, human psychology, and strategy. They know that while you wait for your merit to be recognized, someone else is acting, manipulating, constructing their own reality. To emerge from the shadows and reclaim your place, you need to deactivate the emotional trap that paralyzes you. Anger, frustration, envy. They are merely fuel for action, not for lamentation. Start by recognizing that control is in your hands. First, master yourself. Understand your own triggers, your vulnerabilities, your desires. For only those who know themselves deeply can manipulate the environment to their advantage and not be manipulated by it. Next, learn to read people and situations like a strategist reads a battle map. What are the hidden motivations? My goal here is not just to reveal this truth. It is to transform you from a passive observer, a victim of circumstance, into an unstoppable force, impossible to ignore. You will cease to be a pawn and become the master of the board. In the next few minutes, I will unveil 7 ruthless principles of psychology and strategy that the powerful use while the naive ignore them. Prepare yourself. Your worldview will be irreversibly altered. There is no going back once you see the truth. To seal your commitment to this transformation, write now in the comments, "I choose power," the myth of naive kindness statement of principle. The world does not reward your intrinsic goodness, but your strategic intelligence. Explanation. Society teaches us to be good, to wait our turn, to believe that justice will naturally prevail. This is the biggest lie. Kindness without strategy is weakness, an open door to exploitation. People expect others to act honorably, but the reality is that many operate under the logic of personal advantage. The premise that being good is enough is a trap that paralyzes action and fosters victimization when expectations are frustrated. Practical example. Think of that coworker who always goes the extra mile, who helps everyone but never gets promoted. He's good, but he doesn't know how to communicate his value, how to negotiate, or how to strategically position himself for recognition. Meanwhile, another colleague, perhaps less dedicated but more astute at presenting his results and building alliances, rises. The naive believe their efforts will be noticed and rewarded. The strategist knows that effort must be directed and visibly connected to results that benefit those in power. They don't wait to be discovered. They reveal themselves. They don't wait for justice. They create it. Machiavelli, in The Prince, already warned that a ruler should not worry about being loved, but rather feared. This isn't about being cruel, but about understanding that morality is secondary to effectiveness when seeking to maintain power. The lesson is clear. The perception of one's strength is more valuable than one's unrecognized kindness. Emotional mastery as lever. Principle statement. Your emotions are tools, not masters. Explanation. Many are hostages to their passions. Anger, fear, euphoria, frustration. This makes them predictable and exploitable. Easy prey for those who understand the ropes of human psychology. The strategist doesn't suppress emotions. He understands and channels them. He uses them to drive action, to read the environment, or even to manipulate the perception of others. It's the relentless ability to feel without being governed, to observe the internal storm and still steer the ship with a steady hand. Practical example. Consider the astute negotiator who, faced with an ultimatum, maintains unshakable calm, never giving in to pressure. Or the leader who, even feeling the frustration of a failure, projects an image of control and resilience, inspiring their team to persist. The strategist uses anger to intensify focus, fear as a signal for calculated caution, and joy to bolster morale, never allowing these forces to blindly dominate them. The naive explode in rage, give up out of fear, or give in to premature euphoria, revealing their weaknesses. The strategist observes their own emotions like a scientist observes a phenomenon, using them as data for the next move, always with a psychological advantage over those who are mere playthings of their feelings. Historical or philosophical connection. The Stoics, such as Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, taught that true freedom lies in mastery over one's passions, not in their absence. They argued that it is not events that disturb us, but our judgment of them. Sun Tzu, in The Art of War, emphasizes the importance of knowing oneself and one's enemy, and emotional mastery is the first step toward self-knowledge. Principal statement: words can be deceiving. Actions and nonverbal language reveal the unvarnished truth. The world is full of people who say one thing and do another. Most are blind to this dichotomy, accepting words at face value. But true strategists know that the most honest communication isn't verbal. It's posture, gaze, subtle gestures, omissions, and above all, patterns of behavior over time. Understanding these hidden signals is like having a decoder for reality, revealing the true intentions, fears, and motivations that words attempt to mask. It's the ability to see beyond the carefully constructed facade. In a business meeting, a potential partner praises your project, but their closed posture, evasive gaze, and hesitation to commit to specific deadlines betray distrust or a lack of genuine interest. Or, in a social context, someone who claims to be your friend, but consistently fails to support you at crucial moments or share your information with others, reveals their true loyalty. The naive cling to empty promises and fine words, easily manipulated by rhetoric. The strategist ignores the verbal noise and focuses on nonverbal cues and action patterns, discerning the truth behind the smokescreen and acting based on reality, not illusion. The psychology of nonverbal communication is a vast field, but popular wisdom has long recognized actions speak louder than words. Robert Greene, in The 48 Laws of Power, in Law 3, Conceal Your Intentions, shows how the ability to read others while remaining impenetrable is a powerful weapon. The illusion of powerlessness. Statement of principle. Power is not given. It is earned, often silently and in the shadows. The victim mentality teaches us that power is a blessing to be received, a position to be inherited, or an authority to be delegated. This is a colossal delusion. Real power, the ability to influence outcomes and shape reality, is something that is built, brick by brick, through calculated actions and a quiet accumulation of resources, knowledge, and connections. Often, the most powerful people are not those with the most eye-catching headlines, but those who have become indispensable, who hold crucial information, or who control invisible networks of influence. You're in a company where a specific department manager seems to have control over all important decisions. Even though he's not formally the CEO, he's become the go-to person for solving complex problems, has accumulated irreplaceable technical expertise, and has built strategic alliances with key figures. While others wait to be noticed, he's become the center of gravity without needing a decree. The naive wait for recognition and authority to be handed to them, feeling powerless when this doesn't happen. The strategist understands that true influence is built step by step, becoming essential and irreplaceable, often out of the spotlight, until their presence becomes undeniable. The concept of invisible power, or power behind the scenes, is ancient. Machiavelli frequently discussed how the prince must maintain control not only through force, but through the perception of his ability to act and the dependence of others on him. Law 11 of Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power advises, learn to keep people dependent on you. The reactivity trap statement of principle, those who react lose. Those who anticipate and act proactively dominate. Most people's lives are a succession of reactions. Reacting to a crisis at work, reacting to an unexpected demand, reacting to a verbal attack, reacting to the news. This reactive mindset puts them in a defensive and constantly at risk position, always one step behind, always putting out fires. The strategist, on the other hand, operates with a long-term vision. They anticipate scenarios, plan their moves in advance, and often act before a crisis sets in or even trigger events to create an advantage. An investor who studies global economic trends and reallocates their portfolio before a recession looms, while most panic and sell their stocks when the market is already falling. Or an individual who, sensing growing tension in a relationship, addresses the issue constructively before it erupts into irreconcilable conflict, rather than waiting for the fight to happen. The naive are caught off guard, lament the consequences, and try to remedy the disaster. The strategist is always ahead, using foresight to avoid pitfalls and proactivity to build their own reality, transforming potential threats into calculated opportunities. Sun Tzu, in The Art of War, mastered the idea of winning without fighting, of dominating the enemy before the battle even begins through anticipation and strategy. The philosophy of proactivity is not just about avoiding problems, but about actively shaping the future. The game of appearances perception is more powerful than reality. We live in a world where what people perceive about you is often more important than who you really are. Most people are concerned with being authentic or true at all costs, without realizing that this pursuit can be a vulnerability. The strategist understands that the image they project is a tool, a weapon, a shield. They shape their presentation, their words, and their actions to create the desired perception, whether of strength, calculated vulnerability, intelligence, or benevolence, all in the service of their goals. A politician who, despite a controversial past, manages to project an image of a charismatic and trustworthy leader through skillful communication and strategically orchestrated public appearances. Or a professional who, despite less experience, is perceived as more competent because they dress impeccably, speak confidently, and maintain an authoritative posture, while another, more qualified, is overlooked for appearing sloppy or insecure. The naive believe their intrinsic truth will be recognized and become frustrated when reality doesn't align. The strategist masters the art of presentation, manipulating others' perceptions to open doors, win allies, and disarm opponents, understanding that appearance is the currency of exchange on the social stage. Irving Goffman, in his theory of presentation of the self in everyday life, describes how we all act like actors, managing impressions. Machiavelli again advised the prince to be a great dissembler and pretender, because men are so simple and so obedient to present needs, that those who deceive will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived. The strategy of calculated indifference principle statement: show less emotion to gain more power. Explanation: the need for approval, the fear of rejection, and the hunger for validation are strings others can pull to control you. When you openly demonstrate how much something affects you, whether positively or negatively, you reveal your vulnerability. The strategist, on the other hand, cultivates a facade of calm and indifference. They don't appear desperate for attention, nor are they destabilized by criticism. This enigmatic posture forces others to guess their intentions, to work harder to decipher them, and to respect their apparent invulnerability. Think of the person who, when receiving harsh criticism, doesn't react with anger or sadness, but with a cool calm and an understanding. Or the professional who, when passed over for a promotion, doesn't show frustration, but continues working with the same dedication, making the decision seem less justified in the eyes of those observing, or even generating regret. The naive seek attention and validation, becoming dependent on others' opinions and easily manipulated. The strategist uses indifference as a tool of control, forcing others to conform to their aura of self-sufficiency and respect a power that cannot be easily shaken. Law 4 of Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power is always say less than necessary. The idea is that the more you talk, the more likely you are to say something foolish or reveal your intentions. Calculated indifference is an extension of this, where the absence of explicit reaction becomes a powerful form of communication, a sign of strength and inner control. You've seen the 7 principles, 7 keys to unlocking a world that operates under rules most ignore. Now the truth is undeniable. The world doesn't reward the naive who hope for justice or kindness. It ruthlessly favors those who understand and harness psychological and strategic dynamics. Those who abandon the fantasy of innocence and embrace the reality of calculating power, refusing to be pawns in a game they don't understand. The hidden trap of emotions that weakens powerful minds has been uncovered. The choice, therefore, is yours. Will you remain in the shadows, dominated by emotions, manipulated, reacting to every blow of fate? Or will you rise up, apply these principles, and become dangerously confident, a master of your own destiny, impossible to ignore? This is not a journey for the weak, but for those who yearn for control, for respect, for a life forged by their own will. Stop waiting for permission to be powerful. Power doesn't wait. It is taken. Begin your transformation now. You've seen the 7 principles. 7 keys to unlocking a world that operates under rules most ignore. Now the truth is undeniable. The world doesn't reward the naive who hope for justice or kindness. It ruthlessly favors those who understand and harness psychological and strategic dynamics. Those who abandon the fantasy of innocence and embrace the reality of calculating power, refusing to be pawns in a game they don't understand. The hidden trap of emotions that weakens powerful minds has been uncovered. The choice, therefore, is yours. Will you remain in the shadows, dominated by emotions, manipulated, reacting to every blow of fate, or will you rise up, apply these principles, and become dangerously confident, a master of your own destiny, impossible to ignore? This is not a journey for the weak, but for those who yearn for control, for respect, for a life forged by their own will. Stop waiting for permission to be powerful. Power doesn't wait. It is taken. Begin your transformation now. We have reached a turning point. You have been confronted with the stark truth. Blind benevolence is social suicide. Passivity is an invitation to exploitation. And the belief that justice will prevail on its own is the fairy tale that keeps you chained. The hidden trap of emotions that weakens powerful minds is no longer a mystery to you. It is a map, a guide to unlock the chains that bound you. Every principle revealed here was a blow to the illusion, a sharp tool to carve your new reality. You can no longer plead ignorance. From now on, every interaction, every decision, every silence will be a conscious choice between being manipulated or manipulating, between being an object or an agent of your own will. So the question isn't if you'll change, but when and how deeply. The conflict between your old mindset and the new reality has been resolved. The truth has been delivered. The only loose end is your action. You have the knowledge. Now is the time to forge character. The world bends to those who refuse to be broken, who understand the invisible rules and use them to their advantage. There's no more room for naivety. There are no more excuses for inaction. The frustration you felt, the invisibility that tormented you, the feeling of being overlooked, all of this can be the fuel for your ascension. In the end, true transformation lies not just in understanding these principles, but in living them, breathing them, and embodying them until they become second nature. It's mastering yourself to master the world around you. It's the transition from a mere observer to a calculating and ruthless player. It's the journey from being a victim of circumstance to becoming the architect of your own destiny. This is your opportunity to rewrite your script, to step out of the shadows and reclaim your place. Stop being a pawn. Become the master of the board. If you're ready to deactivate the emotional trap and embrace practical intelligence, if you want to be impossible to ignore, then I challenge you. 1. Like this video to signal your commitment to transformation. 2. Share this with someone you know who also needs to wake up to this brutal truth. 3. Subscribe to the Machiavelli channel and turn on notifications so you're never caught off guard by the hidden dynamics of power again. 4. And above all, start applying one of these principles today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. Take action. Power doesn't wait for invitations. It's taken. Your new reality begins now.